The Woman in the Heian robes. I've got a terrifying story for you. This one's about a friend of mine I've known since middle school. We're still close even now, but back in high school we spent practically all our time together. One day he came over to hang out at my place, and he brought his girlfriend with him. The moment she stepped into my room, though, she immediately blurted out, "This place feels awful." Later, my friend told me that his girlfriend had said there was the ghost of a dog in my room. I lived there. You can imagine how that made me feel. His girlfriend, was known for being sensitive to the paranormal, so I figured she was just picking up on something I couldn't see. But this story isn't about that visit. It's about the time I asked Em about the scariest thing she'd ever experienced. Em's life hadn't been easy. Her dad had run off when she was still in elementary school, and her mom worked long hours, so she spent a lot of time alone after school. She'd often pass the time watching TV or playing with her dolls. She told me she'd always had strange encounters growing up, but this one was different. Even as a little girl, she could tell something was seriously wrong. It started with a feeling of pressure in her head, like it was getting heavier and heavier. Then the ringing in her ears began. At first, it was faint, but it quickly grew louder, and she realized it wasn't just ringing. It sounded like a chant, like some kind of Buddhist sutra. As the weight in her head grew unbearable, the chanting became clear, filling her ears. Freaked out, she looked up, and that's when she saw it. A woman, floating in the air, dressed in a traditional 12-layered Heian-period kimono, was laughing. A loud, high-pitched cackle that echoed in the room. Em froze in horror as the woman's face twisted. She suddenly snapped her eyes open wide, her laughter stopping as she glared at Em with a terrifying intensity. The woman's lips moved, but the words she spoke were impossible to understand, like some kind of garbled, ancient language. And then, blood started pouring from her eyes. Before Em could scream, the woman vanished. The next thing Em remembered was waking up in her bed. Her mother was sitting beside her, watching her with a sorrowful look in her eyes. Em had other experiences too. She shared a lot of them with me, and we actually became pretty close over the years, even though she was my friend's girlfriend. But there's more. PSM is no longer with us. I don't know exactly what happened, and I've never told anyone this before, but this is by far the scariest story I've ever heard.